Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness, presented by the Yes Team Realtors. It's the 2nd of October, the second day of the fourth quarter in 2020. We are in the fun 3 months to close the year that sees a little Halloween, a little Thanksgiving, some Christmas, and what we think will be a spike in the economy from a macro and micro standpoint. Time will tell. Judah Wickhauer is our director. Why don't we welcome the distinguished gentleman to the show, Keith Smith. Keith, good morning.
Good morning. And we are officially in our bet zone.
Yes, our bet is going. And our bet, to recap for Instagram that's watching, for you as well. Q4, well, how do you remember the bet?
No, I'm going to let you talk.
Fourth quarter of 2020.
I'm not going to open up my mouth and insert foot.
Fourth quarter of 2020, you said, would beat second quarter of 2019.
That's exactly right.
Excluding, removing new construction.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna.
And I'm feeling a lot less confident with this bet after you told me what was pending going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Well, like we talked about the other day, it's an
inventory game.
I think we're both a little nervous, right?
I'm more nervous than I was.
Yeah. Your confidence level kind of took
went down.
Went down.
Yeah, once you showed me the pendings, and the pendings were like 25% of the 2019 Q2 production, right? Isn't that what the number was?
Yep. It's even worse now.
It's worse now, right?
When we get to it, it's.
So you're basically saying I'm in a tough spot right now.
You're in a tough spot. So September pendings, 383.
And how many were 2019 Q2 off the top of your head?
Yeah, I can't remember. I have to look that back.
383 is a ton.
I think it's somewhere between 800 and 900. Somebody will probably chime in and.
So we're probably at like 45% already.
Yeah, but they need to close, right? So that's just pending.
The only thing that's going to help me win this bet is a pinch in inventory.
Yeah. Well, again, at the back end, we'll talk about that. It's actually happening, right? So. There's a bit of a pinch.
There is a bit of a pinch. Batman, que pasa, chico?
Que pasa, Robin? As everybody knows who's watched the show, I've ordered Batman and Robin suits.
My kid got his Batman. My wife got her Catwoman. So that Robin's got to come in because our entire Halloween is tied to this order you made. My kid carries around he's 2.5 years old. He carries around his Batman Halloween suit all throughout the house. And I'm saying this to make you feel a little bad here because I know you have a big heart. You're a grandfather, you're a father, and the last thing you want to do is disappoint a little boy.
You were raised Catholic, right? This
the
whole
guilt
thing.
The
right?
chemistry.
Nice
the
job,
chemistry.
guilt.
You think it's going to come?
I hope. I'm getting nervous. You know, I'm actually...
More nervous about that?
Oh, totally. I do, and I just don't want Mrs. Miller.
Neither do I, dude. Neither do I.
So after the show, I got a call. Maybe I have to pay some express shipping or something. But
I don't want her upset either, Keith. Please.
Oh, come on. We talk. She's probably. I don't think we've ever actually met.
Have you not?
I don't think we have. No.
Okay. She's a fantastic person.
I'm sure
she might be watching right now.
Sure. We're gonna when this COVID-19 is over and Judah, aka Alfred, watches your son, we'll go out for dinner or something.
That'd be great. Judah, do you have any experience? You think he has any experience babysitting? Should we go to the Judah cam?
If you want to, we'll go to the Judah cam.
Judah cam. Do you want the Judah cam ready? He's not crazy about the Judah cam.
You think?
Right? We don't mind the camera.
You think?
Do you have any experience? You need to put that microphone in front of you over there with the Judah cam.
We'll get to real estate, folks. Don't worry about it.
Do you have any experience babysitting, Judah?
I did about 30 years ago.
Okay. That's going to make Mrs. Miller feel happy.
Yeah,
feel relieved.
I think we need to do better than that. We got to come up with a plan B for Mrs. Miller.
Right.
Plan B. I think Liza actually has a better chance.
Better chance. Yeah, I think you're right.
So we kind of had a great conversation on Tuesday, and we're going to kind of revisit some of that on the back end of the show. You know, there was a couple of things I wanted to tackle on Tuesday, but this whole Zillow thing popped up, and actually that's gonna be one of our topics later in the show. But I basically didn't get to talk about what I wanted to talk about that particular day. And so the first topic that I really want to talk about is and we talked a little bit, but I wanted to spend a little bit more time on it and maybe see if there's some feedback from the feed on it.
Sure.
Projections of home prices over the next 12 months, right? What are the experts saying? So, Jody, if you don't mind getting slide number 1 up. And we talked about this again on Friday.
On the screen for you, too. How's that?
You're a good man.
Yeah,
thank you.
I know you like that reference.
I do.
Let's do that.
I can't read the little print.
You got your glasses on.
Yeah, well.
Hey, man, you were getting props coming into work today.
I am.
Yeah, people are saying you're a distinguished gentleman.
Yeah. Oh, on my walk into work?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Yeah, Mrs. Smith will be in trouble.
The real show is the show before the show. That's the show.
Let's say I was complimented on the way I walk over here.
Yeah, you love that. You got a haircut. You're dressed sharply. You got the neck gaiter that's matching the suit. You're looking good.
Yeah, got a compliment. Also a bit of a proposition at the same time, but I got a compliment. So
Judah's laughing.
I'll take the compliment. He's like, because
we don't need to go down that road
because he doesn't.
All right, here's basically what had happened. Keith Smith is dressed very sharply. He was walking to work. Another lady thought he was looking pretty sharp as well, and she said, "Hey, you're looking good." Is that pretty much what happened?
Yeah. So where's the numbers?
Put the slide on the screen, Judah Wickauer.
This is a family show.
It is a family show.
It's a family show.
Yeah, that's why I said the show before the show.
The show before the show.
It's the show. Judah says those are on screen. They will show up for you in a matter of 4 seconds.
Yeah, so, we get asked these questions all the time. Real estate agents get asked all the time. It's where's pricing going in the next 12 months? So, what I wanted to do was show what the experts are saying, not what we're saying.
Sure.
Or what I'm saying, or Jerry's saying. So it's pretty clear across the board. Everybody's projecting somewhere in the 4% range, plus or minus. There's a core logic, which is a little bit down. And I was taking a look into that a little bit over the last couple of days. And their matrix that they use is a little bit different than everybody else's. So, personally, I'm a huge proponent of NAR, love everything NAR does, is particularly around National Association of Realtors, that is around statistics. So, that's what I take. And then, on the normal circumstances, what do you gravitate to? The middle, right? And the middle's 4.3. So, at the moment, everybody's projecting about a 4% price increase. That's a great thing.
That's a great thing. Healthy.
It's a healthy thing. We talked about this when things were a little nutty. Double digits is not a good thing, right, on that stuff. But this was a slide that we were missing on Tuesday that I thought I'd include. If you can get slide 2, Judah, I'd appreciate that. And just leave it up there for a few minutes. So if I'm out trying to buy a house, right, and inventory is low and we're missing out on opportunities, and next year we're projecting a 4% growth, 4 to 6 or somewhere in that range, I'm concerned about, is the housing going to outprice my ability to pay? Now, at the moment, the offsetting factor to that, which is awesome,
interest rates,
is interest rates. That's exactly right. So, the quick little slide I threw together. Actually, I used CoreLogic's number. They had a 5.5 increase. That was actually previous to these numbers, so they revised it a little bit. But at the end of the day, the numbers don't really change so much. So last year, a $250,000 house, roughly, this is only principal and interest, cost you $1,155. Today, so now you can buy approximately for the same amount of money a $263,000 house. And that is purely in the difference on the interest rate. And I didn't take the time to do the math, and you're probably sharp enough to figure out what the price increases between 2.5 and 2.6, 250 and 263, but
I'd say that's about 5%.
That's exactly right. I didn't do the math, but
yeah, about 5%.
Cool, that works for me. The bottom line is, as long as the interest rates stay the way they are at, from my perspective, then we can absorb this price increase, this 4% price increase.
And they are going to stay that way.
Excuse me?
They are going to stay that way.
Every indication, everything I read, everything I could do that. But here's the caveat. Mortgage rates are like orange juice, right? It's a market-driven thing. And as long as, and these numbers are based on Freddie Mac numbers, which is a quasi-governmental organization, so they're subsidized. As long as the federal government is helping things along and doing all these buybacks, that they're doing these mortgage buybacks, well, fine. But if that should stop, that's when that interest rate will start climbing up. So at the moment, we're looking good. You know, you could not have asked for a better time either to sell or to buy. And usually that doesn't happen. Usually it doesn't happen that both are good at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
It's a, you know, in the one hand, it's a buyer's market, and one hand, it's a seller's market, and because of interest rates and appreciation of property value, it's kind of balancing itself out. You know, I don't have a crystal ball what's going to happen 12 or 24 months from now, but I'm feeling good about it. I really
That's
am.
good. That's good.
So, can I get to my 7 truths?
Oh, you've been trying to for a week?
I've been trying for a week to do this
Yeah.
stuff. And if I don't get this right out
We're going to do it right now.
if I don't get this right out of the box,
we may not get to it.
We may not get to it. Before I do, any comments on the feed?
Not yet.
Okay, cool.
Not yet.
So 7 truths of today. So we're going to do a little back and forth and see if we've prepared for our show correctly on this stuff. So at the moment, number one is the sellers have to be ready to act, right? That's the first thing. So what I mean by that is the buyer, and we talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, the seller, has to do what Keith and Yonna Smith haven't done yet, where both of us have decided that the home, the structure, isn't a house, isn't a home, it is now a house. So that's, you know, we talked about this, you know, we'll talk Zillow a little bit later, but all these apps and all that stuff isn't going to do this for you, right? It isn't going to help you make this decision, this emotional decision to go ahead and do this. So the very first thing, you've got to be ready to go. Don't tempt the market. Don't, hey, let's throw it out there and see what happens, right? You've got to be ready. This is the new truth because the buyers will pick up on that. And we talk about this all the time about pricing it right? And if it's overpriced, we talked about that on Tuesday. If you overprice it, you know, these new buyers are sharp as heck, and they're going to know it. They're going to know it. They're going to look at their apps. They're going to look at they do their homework. They seek out their trusted advisors, and they're going to know. So you got to price it right. So you've got to make that decision. Am I ready to go and be all in? Second thing is the speed of the sale is important. And I'm not talking about getting it under contract. I'm talking about getting it from contract to close. And there's so many road bumps today, again, in my opinion, why that phone, these apps are never going to really be able to walk. They may offer some tools and offer some assistance, but you know, deals go like this. And all these different layers of underwriting, multiple underwriters now, just from the loan side of it. But what I wanted to focus on, and this is a shout out to one of our sponsors, Interstate Pest and Service, get your house ready, right? So prior to listing, seek out a trusted advisor, seek out a real estate agent that's a pro, right? Keith and Yonna, for instance.
Yeah.
The Yes Team.
The Yes Team Realtors.
There you go. But there's a ton of really good real estate agents out here, a ton of them.
We got a bunch watching right now.
There you go. And so one of the things that's a great, you know, having your house ready for sale is when you sit down, and again, this app won't do that. When you sit down and go through your house, you know, there's a little moss on the roof. Hey, we know that's going to get caught, and typically will get caught in home inspection. So let's clean that up now. You know, we talked about, you know, my eye being a builder and developer kind of sees different things, but if there's like a water stain on the roof, on the ceiling that was from a previous leak, they just never painted it, you know. Let's get a little kilts, let's paint the ceiling, let's get all these little things done before you list, because we want to get through this home inspection process. So typically, things where contracts kind of get a little squirrely right now is this home inspection process and lending, right? Appraisals and lending and stuff like that. But what I'm specifically talking about is the home inspection process. So be ready for that. Get all this stuff done, you know. And it's not pretty stuff is one thing, but, you know, if you should, not that we're experts, but if you stick your head underneath the crawl space and looks like there's something growing on a joist, we're not experts. We don't know what that something is, but it isn't normal. So let's call Interstate Pest Control and Service. They can assess it and fix it, and therefore it doesn't come up on home inspection.
Sure. It's good advice.
More real estate agents that we speak with on the side, home inspections either go really smooth or they're super disastrous. So just remove the disastrous from the equation and focus on let's fix as much as we can prior to that. Number 3.
Okay.
Sanitize. That app, that Zillow, isn't going to sanitize your house.
Right.
Isn't going to have the resources when between each showing that we make sure that the house is sanitized and cleaned up, or in certain circumstances, depending on the relationship and the listing, we will actually engage a company to come in and take care of it. But, this is the new reality. This is COVID-19. We need to be super mindful and super thoughtful of this and sanitize the house. Again, Zillow's not going to do that for you. All right. We're going to get to Zillow soon.
Yeah. Okay.
It's on the to-do list. So this is a little bit. The number 4 is kind of new. It's tying together COVID-19, but there's some value to moving out of the house.
Interesting.
Well, vacant is easier to show.
Sure.
Right. So that's.
I always thought vacant also gave a stigma of eagerness to sell.
It could. It's easier to sell, that's for sure.
It also gave me as a buyer the impression these guys don't even live here. They're ready to move and sell this bad boy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that kind of goes back to the speed of the sale.
Yeah.
Right. So it's vacant. The speed of the sale or the speed of closing, from sale to closing is a little easier with somebody not in the house. We're not trying to figure out moving schedules and
sure.
If there's a we call them domino deals.
Right.
Right. So if our seller has to sell another house, has to sell this house to buy another house, and then we've got a buyer coming in.
And those are very common.
It's more common than not.
Yeah.
But if there's any way, and it's a fiscal thing, right? If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't.
So are you saying short-term rental?
So it's
hotel.
So it's interesting what some people. This is not a trend. It's not happening. Some people, that's what they're doing.
Short-term rental.
They're going on. They're going to the beach for a week or two or something like this. I'll be honest with you. My sister's house that we sold in Belmont. It was a year. This was long before COVID. Great neighborhood, great price point, right? We priced it right, and I said, look, when are you going on vacation? Well, we're going for 2 weeks down to whatever. I said, great. You're gonna vacate that. We're gonna get the house ready, right? Clean it, declutter it, all that fun stuff. Take the pictures, put it out on the market, right? And then we're gonna hit the send button, the list button. You're gonna go away for 2 weeks. And we actually got because the market, we knew we were going to get something quickly on it. We got a contract within a week. We negotiated it. She was gone. We did it all virtually. Even again, it was pre-COVID. But it made a difference. They weren't necessarily out of the house, but they weren't in the house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So it's a tool if you can do it. If the seller is able to do that, it just makes the showing so much easier. Right, so in her case, there's 3 children and a husband working at home. Right, this is again pre-COVID on this stuff, but now you got to schedule all this stuff, and the way the market is moving, and it's moving so fast, you want to not impede that process. Again, if it works, if you're scheduling a vacation and you want to put your house on the market, if you can coordinate the 2, and it's priced in a certain price point, it's what we're advising people. We're looking at what their life schedule is, right? What their plans are. Again, I'm going to keep on going back to this. Zillow ain't going to do that for you.
No.
Right. So, we talked about this, and you coined a new term. So online.
Digital curbside.
Digital curbside.
Yeah. That's what all the under 40s are saying.
Under 40s.
Yeah.
So video is super important, right? It's
digital curbside, for those who are watching on Instagram and Facebook, is when you pull up the listing on Realtor, your Realtor app, on the Zillow app, anywhere. I mean, because what was the statistic you said? The majority of people have seen it online
3 times.
3 times before they see it in person.
That is before they even pick up the phone.
To call an agent. So the digital curbside is, how good does the home look online? And I'll be straight up. A lot of them look better than they actually are.
Well, I was just going to...
Because you have the filters.
Well,
some of them look worse than they actually are. Yeah. And that might be like an agent coming in with, or somebody coming in with like an antiquated camera, not using lighting. You know what I'm talking about with those?
So our chemistry is working, because that's what we need to talk about.
Yeah.
It has to be done right.
Right.
Right. And more importantly, you know, we, the real estate agent, again, not the app, is going to go to Mr. and Mrs. Miller and walk around, because we're professionals on this thing, and we're going to say, look, please declutter this a little bit, right? Hey, don't leave your bank account information on a thing, because the camera sees everything on that end of it. But, you know, we'll walk through and declutter the house and kind of move things around a little bit. And also, again, if you're not in the house, if you're on vacation, like we did with my sister, if you're on vacation, you know, the house is kind of already cleaned up and it looks sharp, and you go through it. But it has to be real. Don't do filters and stuff. It's got to be real. Just hire a really good photographer.
That's why, and I'm just throwing this out there. That's why and I'm choosing my words carefully, because you'll know why after I say it.
Sure.
That's why the 3D or Matterport photography, while very appealing, can also very much show, with the digital curbside, the very clear flaws of the house.
Man, how long we've been doing this? Almost 2 years.
2 years. We haven't really talked about this topic. You disagree with me?
No, what I was going to say, that was probably the most restrained I've ever seen.
Right. Well, you know why I'm being restrained.
Yeah.
So, you know why, right?
Yeah, I do. And I disagree.
Oh, you do? Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me why.
Well, the reason I disagree with...
Do you use it?
We do, yeah.
You guys do use it? Okay.
It's not Matterport, but we use different versions of it. But
okay.
Matterport,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same. Look, we use it because now we have to use it. It's expected. We're talking about this. The curb appeal, it's expected. This 3 times they're looking at it. You know, the first time they might buzz through it quickly. The second time they might slow down a little bit more. But the third time, they're going to spend a lot more time looking at it. And these 3D
tours.
Matterport tours, there's multiple different companies that do it. And we have some awesome local folks that do it, as we know.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm going to be reaching out to one of that individuals, because Yonna's 60th birthday is coming up soon, and I need a trusted advisor for a trip to Africa.
Very nice. So, Andre Xavier. Sounds like you're getting a phone call.
You're going to get a phone call after this show. But before,
and Yonna's watching.
Uh-oh. I just screwed that.
Yeah. Yonna. So, GR Falls is watching. Remax.
Wow. Thank you, GR.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Huge fan of GR Falls.
I haven't spoken to GR yet. Sometimes, so hey, GR.
Last time I spoke to you, GR, it was over something wet at the Lazy Parrot.
There you go.
Miss seeing you, GR.
There you go. So I disagree. It is the new reality, particularly since COVID-19. And, you know, it's just you have to hire a pro. You know,
because that's a very real look at a home.
Yeah,
the 3D tour.
Well, and you can't. So I learned this 2 years ago when we started doing this. It's amazing what those things see.
Yeah.
And I got to the point I don't rewatch any shows anymore.
That's the best way to do it.
Because I get like, oh,
you start picking it apart.
Oh man, I sounded stupid.
Yeah.
And you know.
When the reality is no one sees it that way. Only us, because we're perfectionists.
Yeah, well, to me, I was doing it because I wanted to get better.
Sure.
Right?
And dude, you were leaps and bounds better.
Oh, when we first started. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, because now, like, you don't
That's all Judah, by the way.
It's all Alfred. Now you don't even worry about the cameras. right?
No, totally not.
Like we just forget about it.
It takes about.
It's two friends.
It takes about 5 minutes for me. You like this. For me, it takes about 5 minutes not to see all this stuff and get the juices flowing. A little bit more caffeine helps too.
Yeah, and those cupcakes.
Oh, did you see?
Did you get them, Judah?
Did you get
Our chemistry is on right now. All right, MarieBette, one of the fantastic sponsors of the show. Get those cupcakes on screen for MarieBette.
Yeah, so before we go back to that, as soon as this show is over, I've got a little change of clothes.
Do you have them with you?
I do.
You're going straight there?
As soon as we finish here.
What about the pooch?
We've got that taken care of.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got my mother and father lived.
Oh, that's right.
Lived like
You're so
3
lucky.
miles. Oh yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah. There you go. We're bringing cupcakes up to see the grandson.
So they asked for MarieBette and not the Bodos?
Nobody asked anything.
Okay, so you're surprising them.
This, I came in and MarieBette, God love him, pulled me aside and goes, "Hey, you want some cupcakes?"
What? And you're like, yeah, sure.
Put them in the box. Let's go.
So you got hooked up on cupcakes.
Well,
and got propositioned over here.
If they think I got proposition.
Yeah, what a morning you've had.
One hell of a morning.
Oh, and it's Friday.
I got, hey, you want some cupcakes?
I know, God, Smith. Smith lives on the peripheral, right on the edge. Keith Smith does.
It just happened.
It just happens to you. I know. It happens to me, too.
It just
Judith's
happened.
loving it. Look at Wickhauer's laughing.
happened. I mean, literally, I walked in and she pulled me aside and she goes, "I got some cupcakes. You want some?" Oh, yeah, sure. I'm in. And then I got propositioned on the way over
your
here.
Company very much.
Oh, God.
So he's going to Connecticut to see
who does
his
that happen
family.
to?
It happens to nobody besides you.
I think so.
And that also probably has something to do with the fact that you're their top customer.
Oh, yeah.
Let's cut to
I don't
the
know.
chase.
I wouldn't say that, but
I mean, you're up there.
I wouldn't say that. They're just awesome people, and they're just. It's an example. Again, I keep on this whole Zillow thing has been going through my head since Tuesday. It's exactly why we go there. It's exactly why I love those guys so much, because they know I love cupcakes, and they very rarely, they have them on a regular rotation. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not there, and she knows I love them, and she thought of us. She walked in, and I'm kidding around, but she walked in and she said, "Hey Keith, we got cupcakes. You want some?" And I'm in. Anytime you get a cupcake.
You're gonna love this. You know how you're always ABCing, always be closing.
Yeah.
And you know how, this is hilarious, Barbara.
Barbara Lundgren.
Yeah, you know how you brought up you're gonna reach out to Andre for Yonna's birthday.
Yeah.
And a trip.
Yeah.
Barbara Lundgren goes, "Not only do you need a travel planner, but Keith, you need a party planner." Hint, hint, hint. Barbara Lundgren. She's always be closing right now. ABCing right now.
I better get my ass working.
You better start grinding.
I got to raise some money.
That's a big birthday.
Yeah, that is Yonna's dream, and we will make this happen come heck or high water, is, as you know, she loves elephants.
Right.
Is to go to some sort of, and Barbara and Andre, you can be working on this the next few days, is to go to Africa to a elephant preserve. Actually, I may be wrong, but doesn't Dave Matthews either own one or part of one?
I can Google that.
I believe, and if Yonna's watching, she'll chime in. I believe he has some sort of connection to a sanctuary of some sort.
Elephant sanctuary. Yeah, he's taking a stand for elephants. Takes a stand for the wildlife. Ratiti Elephant Sanctuary is the first ever community-owned and run elephant sanctuary in Africa.
And he has some connection to it, right?
And he's like an ambassador and an evangelist for it.
Yeah. So that's Yonna's 60th, which is another 40 years from now.
Right. I was going to... Keith.
That was a good recovery.
That's a good... Why are you getting red in the face over there, Keith?
Good recovery. I got to spend 10 hours in the car with her here after.
I know you do. Logan McCathan?
Yeah, Logan. Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful, those cupcakes.
Yeah, man. I don't know what anybody else is going to eat, but they're going to watch. No, we wanted to bring them up for the kids and for the little Harry and Big Harry.
Iris Luck, I want some cupcakes.
Sure.
What a great line for somebody to come up to you and say, "Psst, want some cupcakes?" I want some cupcakes. Iris Luck. Me too, Iris. The problem is if I take one of those cupcakes, I'll be taking them from his grandchild. And I don't want to do that. Harry Jr. is too cute.
So I'm smart enough not to bring them with me to the show. They're sitting over there.
You're very smart because we would, I mean, frankly speaking, with your generosity and your big heart, you probably would have fed them to Liza the dog. Yonna, when he comes in here, Yonna's watching.
Yeah, sure.
When he comes in here, he gives Liza the dog like 16 dog biscuits.
Oh, come on.
Dog treat. Judah, is it not a considerable amount?
4.
It is not 4.
It's
Liza the dog would leave Judah for Keith Smith. Because 2 days a week, he is giving Liza the dog. Keith Smith is so generous. He bought Liza the dog, the I Love CVille mascot, her own box of treats.
From Costco.
From Costco.
40,000.
And then Patty Zeller came in here from Animal Connection, went like this. What is that?
Oh, jeez, I'm sorry.
And then I had to explain because that's her business.
Oh, man.
I said I had nothing to do with that, Patty. I had nothing to do
Patty,
with that.
I'm sorry.
And then what she's going to do is give the Yes team a Yes basket for your dog to say, this is what it's about.
So I will, when we get back, I will go over to Animal Connection. It's over at the Studio X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll
Yeah.
go get a cup of coffee over there or whatever, or a Brazo taco, and I'll wander over and pick some stuff up from
Get some
Liza.
treats.
Get some treats. I apologize. I should have thought. So curbside. We didn't finish curbside.
Digital curbside.
Digital curbside.
Yeah.
We went off on a bit of a tangent.
We
but
did.
The video is important, and I think 3D is. But, it depends on the house, right? So you have to, all the trusted advisors watching the feed, they will guide you through this process, right? And, just like Gandalf did in Lord of the Rings, that's the important character in any story is the guide. Who's going to guide you through this adventure?
What do you think, Christopher Eagle? What do you think, GR Falls? What do you think of Matterport? What do you think of the 3D photography? We got Johnny Pritzloff watching on Instagram here.
Hey, Johnny.
What do you guys think of the 3D photography with the listing? Yonna, what do you think? Give us your thoughts on the street.
Number 6.
Marina, what do you think?
So number 6 kind of ties into the online, the 3D, is staging. Staging is becoming very important. And, we can call it decluttering. We can call it, staging means different things to different people. But the reality of it is, and somebody who's really super, in my opinion, great at this is Caitlin Mancini.
Yeah.
She's got an unbelievable.
Roy Wheeler Realty Company.
Yeah, she's got an unbelievable eye. If you can tag her on it and tell her
will tag her
I've
right
given
now.
her a shout out. But,
Yeah.
an excellent real estate agent, but she just has this really innate ability to go through a room and just set
She
it
has
up.
an eye for design.
Oh, without doubt. So it's essential right now because we've been talking about these 3 big things right now. This photos, right? The new curbside or interior, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's the first impression. It's first, second, and third impression these days. It has to be spot on in order to move on. And generally, if it's done really right and stuff like that, it drives traffic. So staging, 3D, professional photography, all this is rolled into this new thing called the iPhone, right? Or the Android, whichever your flavor should happen to be.
Sure.
90, I think it was 92, 93%, I can't remember the exact number, start everything on that phone. Not the laptop, it's the phone.
Sure.
That's why when you build websites, they have to be so...
Mobile responsive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last item is force majeure. And if Yonna's watching... I can barely speak English, but she speaks French fluently. But it's act of God, right? So there's a couple of new provisions within the contract, and it's COVID-19 in particular. And I didn't bring the addendum with me, but you're starting to see now and have been seeing since pretty much March, in every transaction, there's more than likely is going to have this COVID-19 addendum to it. And in essence, what it talks about...
Ooh, I'm learning something right now.
Yeah. So in essence, what it talks about is if you're the buyer, Yonna and I are representing you, and you're the buyer, and you're buying Judah's house, we're going to include one of these COVID-19 things, because if, God forbid, you should catch it in the process, or something should happen that you physically can't
move.
No, you can't fulfill your obligations in the contract.
Yeah.
So it's an act of God kind of thing. So there's built-in timelines. It gets extended certain periods of time, and you can negotiate the timeline one way or the other. But what's important to know is that you're going to start seeing this now as sellers. Right? You're going to start hearing this now, and you have been hearing this now as sellers, and you have been hearing this for quite some time. I don't think it's going away anytime soon, because as long as COVID isn't a vaccine isn't going to come in, I believe this addendum is going to be constantly out there to go ahead and do that. So there's certain force majeure things or items or clauses that are now prevalent part of COVID-19, and this is particular. And I wanted to talk just very briefly about that. It's not getting a lot of airtime or a lot of folks talking about it, but this is a conversation that we would be having with you as a buyer, and say, okay, in our offer we're going to include this addendum, and we're now going to explain to you what this addendum is. Again, Zillow isn't going to do that for you.
No.
Zillow isn't going to sit Mr. and Mrs. Miller down and say, look, we're trying to protect you, and this is how we're trying to protect you through that. So, and that was pretty much just a kind of quick little 7 things I was trying to get to on Tuesday before it all blew up and became
the Zillow
thing.
The Zillow show.
Which is our next item.
Yeah. I mean, you've had some time to digest Tuesday's show.
I did.
I did as well.
I did. So
we should recap.
I'll let you recap. I'm going to sip my coffee.
Okay, so on Tuesday, we had an agent from Richmond, which was surprising to both of us, that Richmond agents are watching the show. I mean, which is awesome.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, it's awesome. And interestingly, Keith said before the show, which is a testament to Smith, that this topic may come up. This is top of mind with a lot of agents. If it does, we'll just go with it. We'll run with it like we always do. Like we ran with the topic with the governor and his wife getting COVID. We ran with it. And within 10 minutes, the topic came up with an out-of-market agent wanting Keith's take on Zillow entering the market and essentially, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zillow is now going to funnel the main IDX.
Well,
okay, you give me the knowledge.
Yeah. So there was 2 things that they basically announced. Not basically, they did announce. The first one is which really kind of shocked, I think, or
rattled.
Is
that fair?
That's a great choice of words.
Okay.
Our industry, or certain individuals in our industry, is Zillow basically is becoming its own brokerage. But it's very laser focused, and I had an opportunity to research it a little bit more since our, on the fly on Tuesday, and excuse me for a second, it's specifically for their iBuying program, and it's very specific in specific markets. In the markets they're in, and we talked about this a little bit. So, Levittown, Long Island, if you can imagine that, it's I can't remember, 50,000, whatever. It's a ton of houses, tens upon tens of thousands of homes that were built after World War II, that they're all basically the same, 1,100 square feet, 900 square feet. So what iBuying is, and what Zillow has created their own brokerage, is when you drive along the roadside and you see these little signs, I buy houses for cash, that's what they're doing.
Okay.
They're just bringing their behemoth systems, their unlimited amount of cash available from the market, from the street on it. From the market on that. And what they're doing is they're buying at below market value, and then they're selling at market value. That's how they're flipping. They are not sitting at the kitchen table trying to help Mr. and Mrs. Miller decide if they're going to sell their house on the market and market value and stuff like that. What happened was they turned them into, they always used what they called premier agents to do that, agents that actually paid.
Yeah, the premier agents on Zillow, for anybody that's watching, what makes a premier agent on Zillow is they're paying Zillow money. It's
exactly
like when you get written up in the Virginia Business Magazine, all these lawyers, I'm one of the top 100 lawyers in Virginia. Well, guess what? They kicked $2,500 to the publication to get that distinction.
Yonna and I get those phone calls all the time.
I get those phone calls for advertising. And I'm like, dude, I am not going to pay for an award. People see through that. But some folks do.
Yeah, well, they do it, and that's cool. And it's one of the magazines you have in the plane, right?
Yeah, the one with the doctors.
The doctors, yeah.
I'm like, how much money did these doctors kick to be on these magazines?
I don't know.
I mean, it's a straight ego play.
Yeah, well, it's whatever.
It is what it is.
It's what they do, and they're happy with it. So that's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what that is. I think the thing that really got me thinking was the second half of this, which was the IDX feed that they're going to start now using. And it's pretty interesting what they're doing. So right now, prior to the IDX.
Tell them what the IDX is.
Internet Data Exchange.
Okay.
So what the IDX is, we have that on our website, right? So it's a direct link into the MLS. So as you as real estate agent put a listing in there and you put pending or sold or make whatever changes to it, it automatically feeds into the IDX, which then automatically kind of goes out to everybody. So for lack of a better term.
So basically an RSS feed.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So what prior to that, what Zillow did is they had these like 10,000 plus individual agreements all around the country. And what they've done is these MLS agreements, these data sharing agreements, and what they're doing now using these IDX feeds, it cut it down to 600. So the thing with that is it comes with rules. I'm personally good with this, to be honest with you.
Because it evens the playing field.
That's exactly right. So what happens now is Zillow, if they're using these IDX feeds, when we built our website, right, we needed, or Roy Wheeler's website, right? And you have these IDX feeds. You have to go back to the CAR, Charlottesville Association of Realtors, which is our MLS in here, and there is a IDX broker relationship. There's an agreement you have to sign. And what you do, 52 pages.
That's the agreement?
No. This is your rules and regulations of the Charlottesville Area Association of Realtors MLS service.
And he's on the board, guys.
And Michael Guthrie, I believe, either chairs or vice chairs the MLS committee.
Okay.
Right? Which is part of CAR. And the reason why this is super important, from my perspective, Zillow now needs to comply with every one of these. Because if you don't, you start getting fined. And if you get fined more than a couple of times, you lose your rights to get into the MLS. Oof. From my perspective, it now puts Keith and Yonna Smith on a level playing field with Zillow. It puts, it just like Greg Slater and I are on the same level playing field. Just
Why did Zillow do that?
Great question. I've been trying to figure that out. And I think, this is my opinion for what it's worth, it's an eyeballs thing. Because what was happening prior to IDX, the real estate agent, the broker, right, had to manually enter it in, had to manually check boxes, right? It was a manual process that Jerry Miller, right, real estate agent, real estate broker, needed to do. Now it's fully automated. So what they're going to do, instead of negotiating 10,000 deals, they're going to come up with only 600. It's a lot easier to manage, a lot easier to control. But more importantly, once you start if you're part of Zillow or however your relationship with Zillow, once you put it into the MLS, it's automatically going that way instead of you having to manually put it in. We're not Zillow agents. I've never paid for it. We don't know that exact detailed process, but my research is that's what I'm coming up with. So
you got comments coming in.
I'm hoping somebody can save me from here. I'm ready to go.
So Christopher Eagle, we'll get to your comment here. GR Falls from Remax, still watching the program.
I'm sure he's got a thought.
Agents from Keller Williams, Logan Foster, Real Estate 3, Nest Realty, and Town watching the broadcast as we speak.
So I think it's all about eyeballs.
This is Michael Buchensky watching.
Hey, Michael.
First Heritage Mortgage.
Hey, Michael. Thank you, by the way, Michael. He said something kind about me. I wanted to say thank you publicly.
Yeah, Michael Buchensky's First Heritage Mortgage. He has this question. Jerry, can you ask Keith this? How does he feel about, so we're covering this, the gist of Zillow iBuy is a quick transaction.
Correct.
To do this, they will likely offer to buy properties lower than market value and sell it as a non-hassle transaction. You said that.
That's exactly what they do.
You don't have to negotiate the price,
That's
is basically
exactly
what he's saying. Therefore, Zillow will effectively lower pricing across the board, therefore potentially hurting home values.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, because you're saying the iBuy cash home is a different kind of home than what's standard on the market?
No, I think what Mike is saying, and
correct us if we're wrong, Michael.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
So I think what he's saying is I'm Mr. and Mrs. Smith, right? We live in wherever we live, right? And we, I know.
You didn't say your address.
I almost said my address.
We're on the same page. Good job, Keith. Good job. Good job.
He can be taught. Look at that.
Good job,
He can be
Keith.
taught.
I'm so proud of you.
Go, Keith. So well, I think the thought process in that, and it's not flawed. It's just I just think overall it's going to get flushed out in the wash. I think what he's saying is if Keith and Yonna Smith want to do this, we owe nothing on our house. We're ready to move to Florida, God forbid, but we're ready to move to Florida, right? And I sell my house for whatever.
Whatever.
All right, and it's $50,000, $75,000 below market. I take the cash out, say bye-bye, see you later, I'm going to Florida. That's a transaction, right? So that's going to show at some deflated number. But what's going to happen is they're going to turn around and flip it and sell it for
market value,
which then...
And so then the delta is their margin.
The delta is their margin, but I think what Mike is trying to say, it skews
the comps.
It skews all the stuff that...
Yeah.
It skews all the stuff that we're going to talk about next. What the market, medium sales price and stuff like that.
I get it, Michael Buchensky. That's a good point.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to be. First of all, in our marketplace, it's not going to happen because the only place that this works at the moment, at the current model, is this place like Levittown, Long Island, where there's tons of homes, right? And there's tons of homes that are, and that I clearly read in my research, tons of homes that
are the same type of homes.
Well, it's easy for the algorithms to price them.
Yeah, right.
Right, so...
0.4, 1,200 square feet, ranch, built at the same time.
Yeah, exactly right. Has, whatever. So it's an easier way to establish value. Where here, Belmont's different than
North Downtown, than Fifeville,
than Lake Monticello.
Yeah, and they're 10 minutes. Belmont, North Downtown, Fifeville are a minute away.
It takes me 15 minutes to get to the place I'm not supposed to tell you where I live.
Right.
Over here. Right. Every morning. So to me, in Levittown, Long Island, it takes you 45 minutes to get from one side of Levittown to the other side of Levittown. So
he says that's what I was trying to say, Keith. You said it better than I could. Thank you.
Oh, well, I don't know about that.
So you're basically saying, let's run that back to me so I can learn. I learned from you here. Zillow buys a home and
iBuy. So
iBuy.
But by the way, Open Door, which is another is probably the behemoth, really. Zillow's catching up to it, but Open Door does the same thing. There's a couple. Redfin, I think, is trying to do it, and some other different things.
So how would it not impact the comps?
Well, it will, but marginally, right? When you,
if a house next to somebody's house, the transaction registers $50K.
So it depends on when you look, right? So if you do this on September 1. For $50,000 on the market, just to pick a number, right? 2 months later, you sell it for $10,000 over market. If I look at my comps a month and a half from now and only go back 2 weeks, then I missed that one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I look at a whole quarter, a whole 6 months or something like that, it will mathematically impact it, but it's not going to be, I think, huge. But the bottom line is, it's not happening here. So this is really a academic conversation.
Sure.
If we
It's
were
great for a talk show.
Exactly right. Hey, there you go. Look at that. Huh? That was probably the stupidest thing I've ever said on this show.
What was that?
This is an academic conversation.
Yeah,
I just realized, what are we
That's
doing?
What we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
This is a class, pretty
Duh.
much. That was not dumb.
My brain is on 95 at
No,
the,
it's
at the
not.
moment. Yeah. So so I don't think it will. If we were doing this show, and we're super blessed because not only is this regional reach that we're getting, I received a phone call from a couple of different states that watch Tuesday's show. But if you're in these markets that have a lot of the same house and a lot of the same...
Then what's the advice you give to those agents and to those buyers and sellers in those markets?
Look, I believe Quentin may have said this on Tuesday. Quentin Beckham.
Keller Williams.
May have said this, or it was Michael Guthrie. I can't remember which one on Tuesday. The percentage of it is minimal, right? Because at the end of the day, Jerry Miller and Mrs. Miller wants the most for their home. You know, it has to be a specific circumstance for you to sell at $50,000 under, or whatever the amount of money is, under market value. Would you do that? Would you do that?
No.
I knew that answer before I asked it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But some people would do it because of the
Convenience.
lack of perceived hassle.
Yeah. So if there's enough delta, right?
I mean, that's Kyle Miller's game.
Yeah, and he does it great, and
Yeah.
he's a great guy, and it's a super business model, and I wish him all the luck in the world with it. But the volume to do that, you have to be in a high turnover market.
Well, let me ask you this question,
sense.
Christopher Eagle. We're going to get to your comment here. Real Estate 3's Christopher Eagle. I promise you, we will get to it.
I got to hit the road.
I know you do, and you have more comments coming in.
No, I'm okay with time.
Okay. So what are they trying? Is this the pop for Zillow, the proof of performance? I mean, they've got to have a more macro vision here.
Yeah, so I think what everybody, so iBuying and what they're doing right now, and I want to be laser focused. That's not really what we should be talking about.
Sure. It's like, what's the next step?
No, we should be talking about
the IDX?
IDX. That is more impactful than the iBuy. But,
give me the nitty gritty with that.
well, they're in our system now, right? Right now, prior to this, you know, there was these multiple 10,000 plus, according to Mr. Samuelson, who's the Chief Industry Development Officer, there's over 10,000 different agreements, and they're narrowing it down to 600. So they're going to be in our system, right? They're going to be in our MLS. They're going to be no different than Keith and Yonna Smith. But they got to play by these rules. They got to play by NAR's rules, and they got to play by our ethics code. And if you don't think Zillow crosses some lines and crosses some ethics thing, that Keith and Yonna Smith are not going to drop a dime, or it's not a dime. What is a phone call?
Drop a dime.
Drop a dime.
Yeah.
I think it's a quarter. If you can find a phone,
Yeah,
public phone booth.
We rat somebody out.
Yeah, that's what you do.
As you should with Zillow.
Drop a dime.
Yeah.
Drop a dime. But they, in my opinion, are now on our own playing field. Now, it's a 10-ton elephant. It can throw its weight around, and it will throw its weight around, and it may try to influence these rules right here. But as it stands right now, Charlottesville Association of Realtors has an awesome MLS committee, and they probably are I know, they're the hardest working team in CAR. The board of directors, we just sit there. These guys do all the work. We just go, oh, okay.
James King is watching the program.
Hey, James. How you doing,
we love James King from King Family Vineyards. Christopher Eagle, Real Estate 3.
Yeah, let's watch Christopher.
I love the talk from Keith on Zillow and where this could go. He says, in regards to the Matterport 3D photography, I like it. I think it's needed nowadays, especially with the digital curb appeal that you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
I think the times we are in with COVID and with everyone seeing homes on their phone before they see it in person, I dig it. It can really help people before setting foot in the property. That's Christopher Eagle Real Estate.
Did he actually use the words dig it?
Yeah, he said he dig.
Wow, man, that's like so 1970s. I'm
he's
impressed.
Good people. He's good people. Your beautiful 7/8 is commenting. Neil Williamson, we love Neil. Welcome to the program. Beth Richmond Hyder, welcome to the program. Your buddy Johnny Ornalis watching the show. Johnny, we have something special planned for you on this program.
That's right at the end.
Yonna, and she's agreeing with you. iBuyers are buying well below market, and then they relist and sell for market or above market value. That's their profit.
That's it. Now, so I think why the reality of it is, I did a quick Google search this morning. 2006, March in 2016. What happened in Google? If you would to Google search the name Zillow or the name real estate in March of 2016, what do you think happened?
Do you want me to look?
No.
Okay.
No.
March 2016.
So what had? I'll just get to it.
Yeah.
March 2016, the word Zillow outbid or out-searched real estate. So in other words, the word Zillow was searched more starting 2016 in March than the word real estate. And it's only gotten worse. So if you do, this is your world, right?
Yeah.
So
basically, someone that's searching something online, just Google it. Now what's happening with real estate, it's like, just Zillow it.
So I'm stumbling because this is your world.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand it that much.
They're changing human behavior.
That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
So the word, and that's the real fear I think some agents have.
Where it's just going to be, that will be the MLS.
When you have that much cash.
Yeah, they have a ton. Their balance sheet is cash rich.
Right? And it's because you keep on buying their stock. But I'm only kidding.
Buchensky, Michael Buchensky has another comment. Buchensky, you're making the show good today, dude. He thinks...
I can't tell you how flattered I was. A couple of shows ago, on the way I walked out, he called me and said, "Thank you for doing such a good job." I was literally in tears.
Oh, I mean, you know what's happened is...
I just don't know what to say to something like that.
This is actually kind of terrifying, but it's also amazing at the same time.
We joke about it, but
the show has become the voice of real estate in Central. I'm telling you, I hear it, and I know you hear it. It's becoming the voice of real estate in Central Virginia.
So I'm breaking it down to a personal.
It's becoming the voice of car. You don't want to hear that, but it's becoming the voice. Okay, you have to deflect. I know you have to do it. I hear it from the people. From the agents.
No. Well, that is not my intent.
I know it's not. I know it's not. But you're on twice a week in front of a hell of a lot of people.
I reject that premise, sir.
You're doing that because you're a diplomatic SOB and you're playing the game the right way. And his face is like hand got caught in the cookie jar right now.
I believe that.
Michael says, my bet is the next Zillow move is a mortgage company to accompany the iBuying process.
So they actually have done that.
Oh, they have a mortgage company.
So I believe
you're educating people here.
No. So I may be wrong, but the reading that I done. There you go. Reading I did in the last couple of days on this, they are doing, and I believe it's Rocket. And Yonna might chime in on that.
Yeah, Yonna, give us some perspective. Any of the agents,
but they literally—that's literally what they're doing. So it's
vertically integrated.
Oh, I would say cradle to grave, right? So they're
complementary verticals.
Yeah.
Isn't that vertical integration, right?
Yeah, I'd like cradle to grave, but that's fine.
That's like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got it. So I wasn't doing such a good job of it, and you picked up and ran with the ball. That's why our chemistry works so well on this stuff. But the point I was trying to make about the word Zillow is searched more than real estate by some huge percentage amount, right? It's just this behemoth. I think what the fear is, and Michael may be targeting this a little bit.
Rocket Mortgage, Yonna Smith.
Is it?
No, Rocket Mortgage is part of Realtor.com.
Got it.
Yeah, she says it's part of Realtor.com. Yonna, thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. But there is one. I just can't remember what it is. But I think everybody's fear is that it'll migrate from this iBuying to what Yonna and I do every day, Christopher Eagle does every day, all the other real estate agents that are watching, and we tackle.
You're so right, dude. I just Googled it.
Which one is it?
Zillow has owned a mortgage company for approximately 6 months.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
Having purchased Mortgage Lenders of America.
Yeah.
But now the online real estate giant has truly become a mortgage lender as well.
Yeah. But they're not going to be able to do what we talked about.
Yeah, they're not going to have the in-person human connection.
You can't. It's a tool. We talked about it on Tuesday. It's a tool. We're going to have to deal with that tool, right? It's like
Christopher Eagle confirmed as well. They purchased a mortgage company, he says.
I couldn't remember what it was. I knew it was done. I just couldn't remember the name. Look, it's like when you went from I remember, 100 years ago, when you couldn't buy anything but a corded circular saw.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, like a circular cuts wood?
Yeah.
It's got a cord on it, you plug it in the
wall.
wall.
Okay. Now I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay, a drill.
All right, this is over my head. Okay.
Let's try this. A drill.
Okay.
A drill.
Yes, sir. I'm with you now, teacher. I'm with you.
There you go. Okay, Chris.
Once you start getting into the hands and fixing, that's out of my
so
purview.
this whole Google thing, you saved me.
Yeah.
I'll save
You're
you.
saving
I'll
me
save
now.
you on
Yeah,
this.
right.
So it was like when you went from a corded drill.
Okay.
1980
to battery.
To a small battery that didn't really actually work all that well, right? It only lasted an hour, right? So nobody ever really used it. They used the corded thing. And then as time went on, right, then the batteries got stronger, the cordless got stronger. Now, if you pull up on a job site now, you don't see anybody pull out. So when we were building houses, you'd show up in the truck, and the first job was get all the cords out, get all the stuff out, get everything all set up. Now they carry these boxes with all these multiple batteries on it and chargers, right? One's a radio, one's all this different thing. And that drill lasts for 12 hours. So that's what I think everybody's fear is with Zillow.
What's your brand of tools?
I got rid of them a long time ago. I always used Milwaukee, but that was, I like the worm drive, which you have no idea what that is.
I have no idea what that is. I have no idea.
A worm drive saw.
My father-in-law is watching right now. He's like, oh my gosh, my son.
Is he watching?
He watches from Long Island.
Long Island.
He's a mechanic.
Oh, really? Cool.
So he's very good with his hands.
Sure.
And his
son-in-law
not
so much.
Not good with his hands. In fact, Mrs. Miller is the one that fixes and repairs things at our house.
Yeah. So in his world, that's like going from an actual Craftsman or whatever you would use, ratchet, to pneumatic, right? It's just it'll move along at a sort of a steady pace, and I think that's what everybody's fear is, that it goes from it may last an hour to lasting 12 hours.
That was a good analogy, Keith.
Yeah.
Neil Williamson. I love when Neil Williamson chimes.
For
what it's worth, Keith, you can't buy a corded drill these days. I tried.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's your point. Yeah.
Literally, Neil, that's the point. You can't go and buy a corded drill. They don't make them anymore. And I think that's what everybody's fear is, right? Everybody's fear is that, and we're not talking about a drill here, right?
It's an analogy.
No, I understand that, but what we do is not a drill.
Yeah.
What Neil does is not a drill. Neil's not a realtor, but what he does requires between his ears
sophistication and nuance.
It requires that gray matter between his two ears to write and do what Neil does. Mostly bust our chops, but he's very good at it. So, what time is it?
Fantastic show. Michael, it will be similar.
Michael Guthrie.
Michael Buchensky.
Mm-hmm.
It will be similar to USAA, where it is basically a call center where you do not get the same person twice.
Yeah.
You will be assigned a client number, and they pull it up every time you call. The way to combat this is via excellent customer service and being local to your market. People want a personal touch, and Zillow's Mortgage or Rocket Mortgage won't be able to compete from that perspective.
So somebody asked me the other day, why do we do this show?
I know
right?
why.
Because of comments like that, first of all. But why we do this show is 2 years ago, I was trying to figure out a way to combat all of this stuff, right? And how can we combat all of this stuff is by showing our expertise, by having these particular conversations with this long format. And I'm really loving this
interactive.
Oh, man, I love it.
It's awesome, right?
I love it, man.
Yeah.
So do I.
It's the only show of its kind in the market where people can do that.
So it's more than just this market.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation offline about this. You know, being who I am, I'm Googling, searching other.
I know it's the only one in Virginia. I can say that with confidence.
So I did some Googling to find out what other shows, particularly real estate related, do this. There's a couple, and they're nowhere as polished as production as this. I mean, not even freaking close. It's an iPhone and a thing. But it's the only one, and I went through about a dozen of them, that there is two-way interaction. All of them is very static, very one-way, right? It's just
someone talking to people.
Talking to a camera or to an iPhone.
Yeah.
This whole format that we've created where this is two-way, it's just, I mean this. This is my best hour. Well, we're up to 3 hours now a week. I just love doing this.
Andre, human connection is the future. It will always be the future.
Andre and Barbara, you got to hook me up for the 60th. I need some
Andre,
ideas.
if you're just chiming in, I think you just scooped up some business from the distinguished gentleman planning anniversary birthday. A birthday celebration. Yeah, celebration. And I'll leave it at that.
Well, touch base with me. I need a little help, brother.
Yeah. We need to give Johnny some love. Johnny's watching.
Do we want to talk numbers first, or
sure? Let's talk numbers.
Just a real quick overview, and then we'll do that. So
I think I'm losing my bet, guys. Yeah. I think I'm losing my bet. Yonna, do you think I'm going to lose the bet, Yonna? I trust your judgment, Yonna. Do you think I'm going to lose the fourth quarter bet, Yonna?
I think after you see these numbers,
that it's over. Yeah.
Slide number 4, please.
You came in with some swagger, and now you're like beaming with.
Oh no, I had a good morning.
The thing about Keith is he's just a genuinely good guy, and he knows that he's going to win the bet, and he knows a lot of people are watching, and he doesn't want to rub it in my face. Now, if these cameras weren't on, Keith Smith would be rubbing this in my face. That's not true. You're totally right. And to speak to his kind of character, he brought us a bottle of brown liquor last week.
I did.
Now, I think you felt bad because of the schedule shifting and changing.
That was not a bad. You misinterpreted that.
Oh, that was just thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for helping me out and moving the schedule. That was a thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Of course.
I didn't get a sip, but that's okay.
Oh, you did get a sip.
I know I got a sip.
And I was trying to pour more.
I know, but I can't. I'm a lightweight. It was literally.
Were you feeling it?
No, I'm not a brown liquor guy.
You like gin?
I like gin. Yeah.
Like gin. Numbers?
Yeah, slide 3. If it's not up, it's up already. Thank you, Judah. So what I wanted to do real quick is just look sold for 2020, 2019. Just go real quickly. So in September, I should say. So September.
Yonna says Keith hasn't won the bet yet, Jerry. We will see.
You two guys.
Yonna, I like her pace. She's like, don't let my husband get ahead of himself. It's pretty much what that means.
Oh my God, is that so true?
We will see.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a couple of people that say Smith to me. It's you.
It's Yonna?
And my wife, right?
I'll stop.
No. What's the first thing you tell me when I show up in the morning?
Smith, hit the head.
Hit the head. Okay, I'll go to the bathroom.
Because you're always complaining after the show. I have to go to the. I'm like, just go before.
You wait until you're almost 60 and sit for an hour and a half.
Well, and you also have coffee. The adrenaline in the coffee.
Sure. Yeah. Well, the adrenaline in our.
Andre says, "Call me today."
Yes, sir. Will do.
He's always be closing too.
I love
just
that,
like
man.
Barbara.
He's awesome, man. So 312 units sold September 2020. Same month, 19 to 24. So we're up 88 units. DOMs, 2020, days on market. Thank you, Judah. Days on market, 15. Last year, 28, so we're down 13. So we're selling more units by 88 in 13 less days on it.
This is ridiculous.
Medium sales price, 337 versus 274.
Ridiculous.
So we're up 63.
Is this the entire market, or which region?
So this is what we've been. This is our stand. I haven't changed anything.
The standard
since we
footprint.
started. So
yeah.
it's a 20-mile radius, no new construction. That's detached, attached, and condos in the 6 jurisdictions, right? Charlottesville, Albemarle, Havana, Nelson, Green, and Louisa. And Louisa is just Zion's Crossroads. So we don't go. The radius does not go beyond that. So we're up 63K year over year. And this is important to go back to the slide that we were talking about.
This is astronomical, right? 63,000 year over year.
It's numbers. It's astronomical, but what we're trying to do is get everybody to track it. What I don't want folks to do is freak out over that 63,000 because the interest rate. If you can go back to slide 2 real quick, Jude, if you don't mind, right? So the difference in the monthly payment. Now I didn't use.
You didn't use these price points.
These price, but the point is,
you used the 250 price point.
I got it.
Yeah,
but the concept's the same.
Sure.
Right?
You're basically saying your money goes further with lower interest rates.
That's exactly right. So,
but from a homeowner that already owns their home, they should be seeing this slide and being like, "This is amazing."
Well, so that's what I said earlier. This is great news for sellers.
Yeah.
And great news for buyers. And generally, that doesn't happen. And there's some really smart people on there. If Michael Guthrie's on, he's been doing this for forever. I don't think I've ever seen it that way, where it's really a neutral market. So normally it's either a buyer's market or a seller's market on that end of it. But at the moment, if you're selling, you can get top dollar, and if you're buying, you can buy top dollar because you're saving on the interest rate.
Because your rates are below 3.
And Mike Brzezinski might be able to help us with that, or Scott Morris or anything.
Scott Morris is watching.
Yeah, so Scott can help us with that. So slide 4, please. So this is going to impact our bet.
Yeah. And those that are watching a bet, the recap is this. Keith Smith and I made this bet. We compared Q2 2019, the second quarter of 2019, to the fourth quarter of 2020. Keith says the fourth quarter of 2020 will beat the second quarter of 2019 in total sales volume when we extract new construction.
Well, it's the three criterias.
Yeah. It's total sales volume is the primary one.
Volume. That's all. I have to hit all 3.
Okay.
So it's sold, DOMs, and median
volume.
sales price.
Yeah, yeah. And he's clearly in the driver's seat right now.
So slide, did you put slide 4 up? Thank you, sir.
Michael says, Keith, it's Boo Chin Ski.
I knew I was going to get in trouble when that came out of my mouth.
Boo Chin.
Boo Chin Ski.
Okay.
The last name is Smith.
Your colleague is his beautiful wife.
Pardon?
Your colleague is his beautiful wife.
Oh, got it. So Yonna's correcting me.
No, he's correcting you.
Sorry, Michael. I still love you. I hope you still love me.
He does. He does.
So,
he's laughing.
If you don't mind keeping that up for a little bit. So this is current active and pending 9/1/20 to 10/20. So 30 days back from today.
I love the slides, man.
So
seriously, it makes them so much easier to follow.
It's much easier for me to read anyway.
Because before we were all trying to keep up with you and what you were saying, and I was sitting across from you, and I was having a hard time keeping up. And I was like, I couldn't imagine what the people that were watching through a screen were doing.
So this old dog can be taught new tricks.
Evidently. And look at that branding and the phone number and the URL in this fabulous photo of you guys.
Can I talk numbers,
yes,
please?
you can talk numbers.
Active 199, pending 383. This is important to DOM on the pending of 17. So if I was to go further back than 9/1, right, that 199 actually climbs up.
Go, keep going. You gotta wait till this is. I don't want to relay this joke to you until you're done with the slide. It's hilarious. Keep going. I'm
Can
sorry.
I focus, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So everybody who's watching knows I have a real bad case of attention deficit.
Yes, sir.
You throw me off track.
We're managing it well with all these cameras.
Right, can I get
Yes,
this
I'm
out?
sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, Robin. I'm trying to make a point.
I know. I'm sorry.
Stop smiling. Stop it.
Okay. Frown face. RBF.
There you go.
You know what the RBF is?
No, but let me talk.
Okay.
So the reason the 17 days to talk about that's important, because people that knucklehead. The reason why it's important, because people that go into search, they might come up with different numbers, right? So I just wanted to quantify that. And I went back purposely, only 30 days. And the reason I did that is because the days on market currently, median days on market and pending is 17. So I pretty much doubled that. If you were to go back further than 9/1 to date, that 199 climbs. But from a practitioner perspective of it, if it's been on the market for 30, 40, 60, 90 days, it's not priced right, more than likely. But there's an issue there, something like that. So this is a slice in time, but it's a 2-to-1 ratio, right? You're the math genius. That's 2-to-1, right? Anyway, so I'm done. You want to tell me the joke?
You got a ton. There's a ton of comments coming in. So Barbara's.
Is Barbara the one
Barbara's
that made it? Hold it. Little Miss Barbara, Little Miss Wonderful?
It's freaking hilarious.
Okay.
Barbara's zinging us. So this is in response to you not pronouncing Michael Buczynski's last name correctly.
I can't even say realtor.
Oh my God, that was her joke. She said, "Good luck, Michael. Neither one of these clowns can pronounce a realtor the right way either."
Thank you, Barbara. I love you too.
We love you, Barbara Lundgren. Johnny Ornella says, "I just absolutely love listening to you guys. You guys are hilarious." It's like the car talk for real estate.
Click it. Man, dude.
Right?
I literally was going to say click and clack.
You're going to like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Carol Thorpe is watching.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I will be selling his late mother's house in 2022 after it is vacated by my niece, whom we are allowing to live there through a rough time. To the adage of no good deed goes unpunished, I am hopeful we won't entirely miss the selling boon as a result of this good deed. In the meantime, I am tuning into Keith Smith's show as often as possible so I can learn and I can come in ready to list my house and become as prepared and savvy a seller as possible. Keith, I appreciate the education you offer on a weekly basis.
So I've got a suggestion.
Call Keith and Yonna Smith.
Well, that's besides the point.
Okay.
We're here about. I would, if I was doing this, I'd put it on the market and try to sell it to somebody who's going to be willing to lease it back.
Ooh, that's good advice.
Right.
Say that. Explain that to her.
So it's a bit of a needle to thread, but I would the way to capture the market is put it on the market, whoever puts on the market, and what you want to do is you want to try to find a buyer. And again, I don't know where the home is. We don't know any of those criteria.
Sure.
But let's assume it's in a market that would probably move quickly on that, and see if you can find a buyer who's willing to do a lease back for 1 year or 2 years.
Carol Thorpe, that's some really good advice right there.
Yeah, if you want to call, give me a call.
That's some good advice, Carol Thorpe.
It's a needle in a haystack.
Sure.
But it's an option. It's an option, yeah.
Yeah, and then she doesn't miss the selling window.
She cashes out.
She gets what she wants.
She takes
and then she takes care of her niece at the same time.
So here's the downside.
And the buyer of the home can have somebody cover the mortgage for a year and change.
Well, that's the downside. So it depends on what Carol's arrangement is with her niece. We're assuming she's paying rent.
The downside, you're basically saying if the niece is not paying rent because she's in a tough time, then it wouldn't work.
We're in the same spot.
Yeah.
But if the niece is paying rent,
then it could cover 18 months of a 30.
So basically it's the same as selling a rental piece of property, right?
Carol, that's not a bad idea for you.
And the rental property, if I was to buy one of your rental properties from you, I just inherit the tenant.
A tenant. That's not a bad idea. Michael Buchensky, the volume of new construction being written that will close in December 2020 is very large, so I think Keith is spot on for the 2020 fourth quarter numbers. One thing, Michael, new construction is excluded from our bet.
And the reason we did that is because of it's a sometimes 60, 90, 120 day, 180 day fee.
Turnaround.
It's just not fair.
Yeah. So new construction not included in the bet. Not included in the bet.
But he brings up a great subject, and we talked about this earlier. I want to bring Greg Slater on.
Yeah, I love Greg Slater.
Sometime later in the month to really talk about the new construction market.
Judah's giving me the stink
It's 137.
I know, Judah's giving me, he's literally, look at Judah. I mean, no, I feel the stink eye. I will hear it later. He's like, dude, you went 30 minutes over on the first show. That put me behind on the second show.
Charge Smith more. Charge Smith more.
I won't do that. I'm not going to do that. We have Johnny's watching. We need to give Johnny
some love. So thank you. Please, I want to give
We might have to take that exit video to Tuesday.
Yeah, fine. That's no problem.
Okay.
So I just want to give a shout out, El Marachi. They're opening up soon. We're hopefully, maybe Johnny can put some information. I don't want to
Zion's Crossroads is going to be the hottest restaurant.
Oh, absolutely. And we've got the picture up. Thank you. Thank you, Judah. I apologize, Judah. I won't shut up. Anyway, go out there. Go see it. I thank you. I walked through it yesterday. It is freaking awesome. It's total rock star stuff, and you can't see it behind that truck, but I believe they can fit 40 people out on a patio, which is COVID-19 awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. COVID-19 awesome.
And it's got a great inside that's big.
Some awesome murals, and if you get a chance to go in there, check them out.
Johnny, we're going to be there.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll chime in when the hard open and the soft open
Margaritas all around. Caitlin Mancini's watching. Caitlin, she just tuned in. Keith was giving you props on what?
On staging. That you were the queen. Is that the right term?
Yeah,
queen of
staging. Getting a home ready to list.
Yep,
Caitlin
absolutely.
Mancini.
We were talking about the importance of that.
Carol Thorpe's got some good news and some so-so news.
Yeah.
The home is in Mill Creek.
Okay, that's good news.
That's good news.
The other one isn't so much.
What do you think is the so-so news?
The other one is we're not charging.
Yeah.
You need to fix that, Carol.
However, my generosity is such that we're allowing her to live rent-free to get back on her feet. Family above money.
Yeah, got it.
So you pretty much predicted that.
Yeah, because that's what I would do. So.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a path there. We should talk. There may be a path there. I try to figure out a way to make that happen on that.
This was a...
Yeah. What time is it? 11:39.
Very enjoyable program, my friend.
Sorry about this, Judah.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I
mean, frankly, he's the one that's got. I got my 12:30 ready to go.
And I got to get in a car in 15 minutes to go drive 10 hours north.
Right,
so
sorry, Judah. I apologize, Judah. Staging sells, Caitlin says.
There you go. Absolutely. We talked about that. I can't remember which number it was, but particularly with this new digital curbside, is that what we're calling it? Is that the right?
Yeah.
Digital curbside and 3D.
Digital curbside, digital curb appeal.
You need to engage somebody like Caitlin or any
trusted advisor.
Trusted advisor.
What do we call them?
Excuse me?
What do we call the trusted advisors?
I don't know about chemistry.
Real.
I'm not going to say.
Realtors?
I'm not going to say.
Oh, I love this guy. Keith Smith, Yes Team Realtors, Yonna and Keith Smith. You see what the man's about. You see his character and his integrity on this network every single week. I mean, he puts relationships and honesty and character and integrity above deals. I mean, it's just a fact. Keith and Yonna Smith of the Yes Team Realtors. Judah Wickhauer keeps us on track. He's our North Star. My name is Jerry Miller. This is Real Talk, an insider's guide to life, real estate, and the pursuit of happiness. Some days we go half the show and we may not even talk real estate. We're just two guys having some coffee, enjoying each other's company.
Who knew?
Isn't that pretty much?
That's it.
That's it. And that's why the show works.
Thank you, everybody.
Have
a great weekend, everybody.
Have a good weekend. Take care. And this. Thank you, Instagram.